In this week's episode of Brolletts, we talked with the newest member of Savannah Bananas, Connor Harris. We saw his content online and knew we had to talk to him. We did this interview about a week before the Banana Ball draft, and we were so excited to see him go to the Savannah Bananas. In this episode, we hear about his journey from going from high school to college to getting undrafted, and how he got an invitation to play for the Visitors, the Bananas developmental team. We also got to talk to him about his initial fear of creating content, and why he loves creating content now to connect with fans. You're going to love this story and this episode with Connor Harris. Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about the biggest giveaway we've ever done. We want to celebrate 3 amazing things, and we're going to pick one lucky viewer to win a ton of stuff. First, we got our YouTube channel back, and we're really excited about that. Number 2, we want as many people as possible to see this episode with Connor Harris. And number 3, we want to thank you guys for supporting our show. So here's what we're giving away. First, we're giving away a custom Brolletts jersey from Stinger Sports. Second, we have a baby blue elbow guard from Stinger Sports. Then we got a pair of red, white, and boom sunglasses from Arete Shades. And finally, we're going to hook you guys up with a ton of seeds from our guys at Chinook Seedery. There's a couple ways you guys can enter this giveaway. One is you can leave a comment right here on this episode on YouTube. Second, you can share this episode and tag us on Instagram. You can get another entry for tagging 3 friends on our Instagram post for this episode. Finally, you can get 10 entries by making a video about this episode with Connor and tagging us on Instagram. The winner will be randomly selected on Monday in an Instagram video by me and my dad. So go enter as many times as you can, and maybe you'll be the lucky winner of our giveaway. We were watching one of your videos on Road to Banana Ball, and it said that one of your stops is right here in Orlando. Tell us about your time here in Orlando.
So in Orlando was right after COVID hit, and it was my freshman year at George Washington University. And I actually just made a video about this recently, but we were just getting ready. We just got back from Tennessee. We were getting ready to travel again, and then they told us our season was canceled. So everybody went home, and obviously it was COVID, and we weren't allowed to go anywhere or do anything. And that summer, all the summer leagues were canceled, except for the Central Florida League. So some of the best players in the country came to that Central Florida League that year. I remember pitching a Dylan Cruz there. I remember there was a couple teams that had a bunch of like studs from University of Florida, Florida State, and I decided I was just going to take a chance. I got invited after having a very good start to my freshman year, and got on a plane in the middle of COVID and went and stayed with my dad's best friend from high school, and stayed there. The whole family was absolutely incredible. I met some amazing people, learned a lot in the Central Florida League. The talent was great, but I felt like I was just a sponge, and I was just kind of just like, all right, like I like your fastball, I like your mentality, I like your curveball. I'm going to ask you. And just when I got back my sophomore year, some guys hadn't pitched in a year and a little bit. And I just felt like in that moment where it was kind of like you can go in different paths, you're obviously staying at home, and there's some things that you can't control, and you can't really go out to the gym as much. You got to do your own body weight workouts. And that was just my way of saying, I know I had this opportunity to go play Division I baseball, but I want to take it serious. I want to make this sure that this is my route, and I'm gonna leave this as knowing that I put everything I had into it. So that year in Florida was very, very beneficial for me.
That's awesome, man. That's such like a fun summer league. We used to go to a ton of those games. The biggest part is like rainouts. It rains every day. Like every day there's like a rain out. But when the games play, man, it's so much fun. Like that old Sanford Stadium, and I know they do some stuff over at Lake Brantley a little bit, but like, yeah, it's such a good league. So many good people coming down there.
That was the stadium I played at, was Sanford.
Nice.
And it was awesome.
That's so cool.
Let's go back a little bit and talk about how you ended up pitching for George Washington. What was your high school and recruiting journey that led you there?
Great question. So in high school, about halfway through my senior year, I had grown up always, and I had 3 goals. It was play Division I baseball, get drafted, and pitch for the New York Yankees. And then about halfway through my senior year of high school, I didn't have one Division I offer. And it was tough because I had this whole belief, and I had written these goals down. I had worked so hard. And there's just a whole group of coaches that didn't see in me what I saw in myself. So I was didn't know which direction to go in. I was thinking about possibly not playing anymore, possibly going to play the Division III route, maybe going JUCO. And ultimately, I got an opportunity to go to a prep school and do a postgraduate year. So I did a fifth year of high school at Trinity Pauling, all boys school, and just worked. It was tough first because you saw your friends off in college having the time of their life, and I'm in study hall at 9:00 on a Thursday night. Still like wasn't getting the attention that I think I deserved. And then one day I was sitting in my room and I got a phone call, and I had just gone to a showcase just like I did the majority of the fall. And I get a phone call and it's like, hey, I'm the head coach or the pitching coach for George Washington University. And I'm calling because I want to offer you a scholarship to come play baseball for us. Talk it over with your family, talk it over with your friends, talk it over with all the other coaches that have offered you, and let us know. I don't have any other offers. My family was all on board. So I paused for a sec, and I was just like, Coach, I'm coming. I was like, I don't need any time to think. I don't need to talk to anybody. I've been working for this my entire life. I've been making sacrifices. A lot of people made sacrifices for me. I don't need any time. I'm coming. And he said, oh, great. And then
Had you done like a visit or like known these guys at all, or did that call come completely out of the blue?
I actually went to a showcase in DC because James Madison University was going to be there. And I was talking heavily with them. And then about 2 hours away from me getting to the field, JMU pitching coach texts me and says, hey, we just committed 2 right-handed pitchers for your class. So unfortunately, we won't be attending the game today, and we won't need anybody else. So I was literally 2 hours away, and I told my dad, it's like, let's just turn around. Like, there's just no point. Like, we were driving from Connecticut to DC. Like, why do it? And he's like, you told them you were going to do it. Like, you're going to do it. I don't care who else is going to be there. I had never even heard of George Washington. And then I got there and struck out 11 of 12 guys. Kind of had a career day. And then GW took me on a tour. And I remember literally driving back, like, looking it up and being like, wow, it's a really good academic school. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in. But they didn't say anything about, like, offer or anything. And then they just sent me a message asking to see my transcripts. And I was like, oh, this is where it's going to go down. But ultimately, I did. I had a good enough academic career in high school and got enough SAT scores, and it worked out. But those were that academic thing was huge because there were so many times where I was like, baseball. And my parents were like, nope, you got to do this. Like, you got to get an A in this class. You got to make sure you got your SAT up. And that was one of the biggest reasons I was able to play at George Washington. So.
How's your time at George Washington, and what did you learn from playing there for a few years?
My time at George Washington was incredible. Take baseball out of it. You're 5-minute walk to the National Mall with everything, and it's truly incredible just to be able to live there as a college student. It was like something out of a movie for me. But baseball wise, I got there and I was the last recruit. I was the last guy in my class. It was almost end of September when I committed that year, which is pretty much unheard of, especially now. So when I got there, I think the biggest thing that I learned was to have confidence in myself. I think that I was taught, like, I got here for a reason. Like, we recruited you because we believe that you can be dominant here. We believe that you can achieve all of your goals. So I felt like at first I did a lot of comparing, being like the last recruit, being the guy that wasn't at the official visits, wasn't at all this stuff. And then all of a sudden all the recruits like knew each other when they got there. And I was like, wow, like this guy got drafted by the Phillies and turned it down to come here. This guy was throwing 95 miles an hour in high school. And then I realized it wasn't about them. It was more about me. And I think that the coaches there did a very good job of instilling that in me and instilling that belief of, like, you can do it. You can do it at this level, but you can't just do it. Like, you can be dominant. And I earned a starting spot pretty early on my freshman year. And didn't really look back. And then, yeah, it was pretty. And then senior year, my everything kind of went downhill real fast, because junior year, everything was great. I pitched well, and then didn't get drafted. And I thought, like, all right, there was a possibility of it. And I didn't pitch as well in the last couple weeks. And then went and had a really good summer. And I was like, this is the year. This is the year that I'm gonna push through. And just pitched terrible the first couple weeks. Just was getting hit around. And then one game at JMU, I had it all figured out. I was back to throwing the velocity, back to throwing the good pitches again. And then I threw one pitch and my elbow snapped. Tore my UCL. A nice little scar from it right there. And all of a sudden I was like, I would give anything to go be back out there pitching bad again. And it just was a crazy level of perspective of, like, I've been so blessed to be able to play this game for so long. And again, I was forced with that change of what direction am I going to go into? And yeah, just George Washington was incredible, because there was just so much that I learned from different situations that I had never been in before.
Tell us about getting a new life for a grad year at Winthrop.
So when I tore my UCL, I had thought that this was a plan of something out there, but I'm gonna work really hard, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna pitch for George Washington University. I'm going to win a conference championship with them next year, and pretty much right away, I kind of had that mindset. And then the surgery took a little bit longer, and to get in, and then all of a sudden my mind started spiraling a little bit. Get the surgery, and then at the end of my season, I go in and have a conversation with the coaches, and the coaches ultimately decided that because of the timing of my surgery and coming back next year, I wouldn't have been coming back until early on in April. So they just couldn't waste a scholarship on someone that was going to miss the majority of the year, which I completely understood. And it was just a very tough pill to swallow, because I saw my career being at George Washington. I wanted that to be the spot. So when they told me that, it was a new life, but I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I got what team is going to take a chance on someone that's not going to be pitching again until April, and that's if the surgery recovery goes perfectly. But ultimately, Winthrop did. They saw something in me, and took a chance. And they said that they had talked with a bunch of different people and had developed guys that had Tommy John history, and they came back better than they did before. And I was like, that's the biggest thing for me, is I want to be at a program that believes in me, kind of the same way that GW did at the start, but believes in me that I'm not only just going to come back from this surgery, but I'm going to come back better than I ever was. I'm going to be throwing harder. I'm going to be stronger mentally. I'm going to be Connor Harris 2.0. And I just adapted this whole mindset of, I'm going to rewrite the script. I'm going to rewrite the script of what should have probably been, okay, you had a pretty good career. You just graduated from George Washington University. Go get a job. You're done with baseball. But I took a personal one. I was like, again, just like kind of I was in high school, I had more belief in myself than other people had for me, which is something that is going to happen in life. It's going to happen regardless of what you do. And so I took that personal, and I was like, I'm going to make sure that all my sleeping habits, I'm going to eat well, I'm going to lift, I'm going to make sure of my physical therapy, and I'm going to come back better. And ultimately came back in Winthrop and threw my first game in 11 months, which is very, very tough to do with Tommy John surgery. And being from Connecticut, the only game we played up north was in St. John's. And the day that I came back, I started and pitched at St. John's. So I probably had 45 family members and friends there. And it was one of the way I describe it is it was one of those moments where I was very proud of me. Like, there are a lot of different situations in my life where I'm like, okay, like I did this, but it was because a lot of people did this for me. A lot of people did this. But in that moment, I was like, this was me. Like, I did this. I recovered from this. Like, a lot of people told me, there were a lot of people even really close to me telling me, like, maybe it's time to hang them up. And I was like, no. And so when I did that, it was special. It was really special. And then came back my last year and had a really good year as a starting pitching at my 6th year.
Man, that's a incredible story. And now we get to the point where college ends, 6 years, right? So you got the D1, right? But then the draft comes and goes. The Yankees are looking a little further away. What happens when college ends, right? Are you getting a job? Are you going back home? Like, what is that transition period like? Because again, up to this point, I'm 22, 23 years old, and you know nothing but baseball, right? Baseball and education had been your whole life up to this point. So talk us through that transition.
Once I got back and I started pitching my 6th year, I was throwing the ball really well. And at one point, I was first in the country in least walk percentage, like 2nd in strikeout to walk, like 3rd in strikeouts. And I was pitching really well. And I was talking to a few teams, but teams were very hesitant because of my age. And then, like, when you can go get someone that in high school or someone after their junior year, it's very tough after a 6th year. So it had been more as like a free agent contract if I was able to make it happen. But I was like still determined. I was like, you know what? Like, again, people had told me no so many different times that, like, right now, like, this is kind of that same situation where I'm going to be the one that proves them wrong again. So I pitched really well against College Charleston. And then I strike out like 8 guys in 6 innings. I'm topping at like 94. So 2 days later, I'm walking into practice. I got like my backpack on. I just came from class. And my coach is like, hey, can you come with me in the office for a sec? I was like, yeah. He's like, so a scout called me about you. I was like, all right, let's scout us. Like, now we're looking at him. Like, what team? He's like, the Savannah Bananas. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, what? And then ultimately, he said he talked with someone on the phone, and then they reached out, and I had a phone call. And I was hesitant at first, honestly. I still felt like that if I had taken this, that I would have it would have been me giving up on my dream. And then I like kind of reshaped it after talking on the phone of like, I get to go play in front of these sold out stadiums. I get to go make an impact on so many different people. I get to keep playing the game that I love, and I get to keep giving back. And so I kind of reshaped it in my head to be like, I'm not giving up on my dream. My dream's just changing a little bit. So I went down to Savannah, and it was basically a 6-week developmental team. So we played against 2 different teams, the Party Animals and the Bananas. And then at the end of the 6 weeks, they kind of would assess you. But it was pretty surreal to go from a conference tournament to playing banana ball in like 2 days.
That's wild. So I didn't know it was that close. I thought there was more of a transition there, but it was literally like, hey, we got a call from a scout and they want you there in a couple weeks. So like you literally went from college ball to pro ball, well, banana ball, pro ball, almost overnight. So you're going from there, and then you go right to Savannah and go to 6 weeks. So like, that's crazy too. Like, go find an apartment, like, here's some roommates, like, good luck. Like, talk us a little bit about that transition of, go from college life to banana life.
So we had just played in the conference tournament, and I had pitched the 2nd game, and we unfortunately lost. And then the next day, it was double eliminations. The next day we were playing, and we won game 1, or won the night before, and then won game 1. And then I was like getting ready to like be good, ready to pitch again. because I knew that I was going to go to Savannah like right whenever the season ended. But in my head, I was thinking like, that's the next chapter of my life. Like that's the next chapter is banana ball. But like, I'm going to give it all for baseball. So I'm literally warming up in the bullpen after throwing 90 pitches the day before. I'm just like, this is it. This is my moment. Like I'm coming back. And then we ultimately lose in extra innings. We take the bus back. I literally have to pack up my car in a day and then drive down to Savannah. Actually, no, I didn't even have my car. My sister came and picked me up. I packed up her car and she dropped me off in Savannah. And then it was 2 roommates. So my roommate, Jordan Brewer, was with the Astros for 6 years. And basically was in AA. And they never got moved up. There was different injuries, but great hitter and just great person. And then our other roommate, Peyton Chantier, was the shortstop for Ole Miss when they won their national championship, and was getting looks, and then got Tommy John and some injuries. But so for some, like we had a group chat of everybody on the team, and then we ended up kind of connecting of just like we can all live together. We'll get a little place, little 3-person place, and have it work out. And looking back at it, those were 2 of my best friends the whole time, and it couldn't have worked out better. All just really good people. But it was definitely an adjustment because you went from such a intense moment of it being over, and then all of a sudden we're doing dances and celebrating. And now all of a sudden I got to post TikToks. I gotta go on social media. I don't get a chance to walk around the mound anymore. I have to just catch the ball and go. They're like, what tricks do you do? I was just like, I didn't want it to bleed in to college baseball. Like when I found out I was going, they sent me like banana balls. And they're like, start throwing with the banana ball. But I didn't even think about banana ball because I was like, I owe it to my team. Like I owe it to Winthrop. I owe my teammates, my coaches, my family to give everything I have right now to Winthrop. So I gave everything to Winthrop. And then when season Winthrop ended, I went. So there was no time to like assess that like my college career was over or anything like that. Because it was like I was throwing a baseball again, except this time it was yellow.
That's crazy.
What were some of the highlight moments for you during your first season there?
When we were in Louisville, it was like 14,000 people, but it was the first game. And I went, and obviously like they flew us out to Louisville, and like really nice stuff, and everything's just top of the line. Everything's like really cool. And then they walked us out to go see, it was the Party Animal store, and they walked us out to go for the pregame plaza party. And I had seen it like on videos, and I see it on pictures, but just like the sheer like amount of people that I just sort of like sitting right there, like that first view that I had of it. And then all of a sudden, like it was like I was like watching something happen, and then everyone just turns their heads and looks at us. And I was like, whoa, like they're here for us. I'm not at Yankee Stadium looking out in a playoff game and thinking like, oh wow, that's awesome. Like Aaron Judge is out there. Like they're here to watch me. And it was a moment where I was kind of just like, I've been on the other side of that so many different times that now it's pretty cool that people are coming to watch me play, and I now have a responsibility to be that person that someone can look up to be that person and give the person that moment that they came here for. Give that person a moment that I would have loved as a kid. So then we just had all these interactions with the fans, and they were so excited to talk to us. And it was just so genuine. It wasn't like it was just like oh, sign my ball. Like they really wanted to know like where you were from, what kind of person you were. They wanted you to, kids were like, oh, I want you to tell me my stats. Guess what? Like I hit a home run last week in Little League. How cool is that? I'm like, that is really cool. Awesome. Like give me a high five. So I would just say how genuine the people were, and that first moment of, wow, like I really did flip the script, and now they're here.
Do you remember the first batter you faced or first time you pitched in a game?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it was a strikeout. And it was on a high changeup. Oh, I don't remember. Maybe Bronny? Oh, that's such a good question. Stumped me on that. I'm going to come back at some point, like 10 minutes, and I'm going to be like, oh, that's it. But it was it was a changeup. And I had suffered a little split injury early on because we did a dance competition to start off. And this is in front of everybody. I'm telling, like, Jesse's there, all the teams. This is our third day. So the night before, they're like, hey, listen, like, we're going to do these, like, dance walkouts, and you guys are going to have a little competition. I was like, okay, this is awesome. So we go, and we, like, choreograph the whole thing. And at the end, it has me, like, doing a split because that's, like, one of the things that I have because I'm 6'8" and I can do a split. And I'd done it so many times in the rehearsal. And then in front of everybody, I just got fired up. You know, I thought I was like a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader or something. But I jumped up into the split and then landed. And the second I landed, I was like, that is not good. So now I'm sitting there and everybody's watching me and I just feel it. So I like get up and I realize it like bruises up the next couple of days. So I remember that first game in Louisville, wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to pitch. And I just was like, nothing stopped me from doing this. Once I got there and saw the atmosphere, I was like, I could have one leg right now and I'm going out there to pitch.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's we want to jump in a little onto the content side. You joked earlier about like, oh, now I got to like do TikToks. I got to do this stuff. But like, I think literally your first upload, like we were looking back on TikTok, you were like, you didn't have a TikTok in college, right? At least not like a baseball facing, TikTok page in college. So talk about like that, was it like, all right, I guess I got to do this, like jump right in. Let's go make something. Like I got this fancy brand new iPhone 7 with the home button on it and I got to make a video now. So, what did you have help? Was it just you in your room and hopefully no one sees me do this? Like what was that like initial upload like?
When they had told me to come down and play like banana ball and I had that call, there was a conversation of like, hey, like you should probably start like posting. Like it's probably like, obviously we don't see a TikTok account. Like we don't like social media. Like if you can just try and like grow your brand in the meantime. But obviously I was very focused on Winthrop and I didn't want to like combine the two. So I get down there and the first meeting, I kid you not, like everyone's got like these different like equipment. They got like tripods and like microphones. And I was just like, whoa. And then people like talking about like social media and like the different tactics for like getting more like making more of an impact and get more views. And then I'm just like, I'm just standing here with my iPhone SE. And they're like, dude, like how do you make TikToks with your iPhone SE? I'm like, I don't have a TikTok. And they all just start like laughing and like joking with me. They're like, well, you got to make one. Like you gotta do it. And I was like, yeah, no, like I will eventually. So then we go to the beach that day and we're sitting in the sand overlooking the water. And I'm like, let's do it. So I'm like, hey, everyone's in the water. I'm like, hey, can you guys just stand behind me for a sec? So I literally take my phone out and I'm like, hey, Connor Harris, I just joined Banana Ball. This is my iPhone with a home button. These are the boys. And everyone just goes like nuts. And it ended up doing pretty good. And then about a week later, Jesse has a meeting with us and talks to us. And I think that was one of the moments where it flipped for me because I never understood posting because I thought it was like posting like, hey, here, look at me. Like sort of vibe. And I didn't really like that. And then Jesse framed it in a way of if you can impact people that are thousands and thousands of miles away, why wouldn't you do it? Why, like, what do you, if you can impact people with just a click of a button and say one thing, if you post a video and it gets 25 views, but it impacts 3 people, like, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And then when I heard that, I was like, I really believe that if I even just share my story, even if I don't know what to do, I'm not very good at editing, I don't have the newest phone, but I feel like if I can share my story and be relatable to people that were probably in my shoes, the people that didn't have a lot of offers, people that came from a town where not a lot of people went and did stuff, people that just people that have been through injuries. And there's so many different moments of my life that I feel like I could teach something that it shifted my whole mindset. And I started to become a little more comfortable as the summer went on with just sharing a little bit more. And then some of the other guys would tell me a little more, some of these like little trends going on. So I post a little bit of the trends, different voices. And now I feel like I'll go scroll and like find like how I can take a trending sound or a trending like vibe and make it into my story and make it into something. And I feel like that's been one of the parts that I feel like I've gotten better at, is not like sharing my story in a way that keeps people interested, not just sitting there and like talking, or not just posting a trending dance, but posting something where people are going to sit there and watch and they're going to get some value out of it.
You come up with some really cool and unique ideas for your videos. What's your process for coming up with ideas?
One, again, like what I was saying, when I first got the TikTok and started posting on social media, I had the problem with like, I didn't want it to be like, hey, look at me. Like, hey, like this is it. So with posting on social media, I wanted it to be relatable. And I wanted it to be something that people could look at and be like, okay, like this guy like is genuine. He's not just posting to get views. He's not just posting for likes and comments. He's posting because he truly wants to share a story. So early on, I was like, I'm not going to change what I'm doing in my normal day or my week based on something that will get views. I'm going to live my life. And then when I'm going through it, I'll come up with these ideas that can inspire, or ideas that will just create a laugh, And so I've taken different like techniques and like sounds or audios from other people, because I think that that's key in anything you want to do. If you want to be successful, is you kind of have to look at people that are successful in your field and like kind of take a little bit from them, and just kind of see what works, and the trial and error. So I feel like I definitely made a conscious effort to learn, but I always wanted to make it like my little spin-off. Like I've never been afraid to kind of just like be myself. So I feel like my videos are kind of the same way, of like, even like when I get my sisters involved or my family or my nana, like they're such a big part of my life that I'm not going to just sit there and do voiceovers and do dances or just post videos of me throwing baseball, because yes, baseball is a big part of my life, but they're bigger. My family is huge in my life. My friends are huge. So I want them to be involved, and I just kind of want it to be just very genuine. So I feel like my ideas come from just being myself and not like getting creative without trying too hard, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think we're like segueing perfectly here, because there's a video I wanted to ask you about, which was the voicemail from your dad, right? Like, I think that one is like, it fits all the criteria you just talked about, right? It's you, it's a little bit of your story, it's bringing in the people that you love and then the people that are close to you. You did it in a cool way, it's motivational, it's inspirational. First, like, hey, just do you remember that video, and then it kind of segues into like, what do your mom and dad mean to you, right? I know we're talking about content and stuff, but like, it seems like they played such a big role. I think you had another video where it was like, why don't you hit? And it was like your mom like saying like you couldn't hit, or like it was something like that. It was something really funny where it's like, because I can't hit or something. But like, I love that you bring your mom and dad into it. And like, obviously, like, we're in the obviously travel ball scene. I'm the dad, I'm the coach, and like, we're there every day driving to and from practice, going to tournaments. I'm sure same in your life, of just your parents being very involved and getting you everywhere you needed to go and showing up everywhere that they could. And now you get to kind of bring them on this cool banana journey that you're on. It's like they get to be a part of it as well, which is surreal as a parent.
No, 100%. That video that I posted with my dad with the voicemail, is funny because we talked about my outing against College of Charleston, where it was like everything clicked and everything went perfectly. So the outing before, I pitched against Presbyterian in our first conference game on Friday night and gave up 9 runs in 2 innings. Yikes. Just got blocked. Just like balls were falling everywhere, home runs getting hit off me, everything going wrong. And like I consider myself very strong mentally, but I mean 9 runs into it, like that'll definitely take a little bit out of you. So that's what that voicemail was from, that he was just kind of like, stay the course, brother. Like you're doing everything right. You're staying true to yourself. Like keep going. So I remember listening to that, and I remember listening to it like multiple times of like, all right, like it's one game, like I'm going to get through this. Like I can do it. And I think that's been something that my family my mom and dad specifically have always been there for me. Like it's always been, if someone else didn't think I could do something, they said, yes, you can. They said, if you want to do it, you can do it. I remember sitting here with my dad talking about what to do after GW said they didn't have a spot for me. And he was like, you've come way too long in your baseball career. You've given way too much for it to end like this. And it just like so many different moments. I mean, my mom, like I remember like in the Little League, like just like being like, I'm just like burnt out. Like I can't right now. And she would just like explain to me like, listen, like you're bringing joy, you're making an impact to other people, even when you're not playing well. And that part of it is one of the bigger reasons I feel like I'm so successful in Banana Ball, is because of the impact as a teammate, as a friend, as posting. But that whole side of it that's not even baseball related, like my mom was so good about just making people feel important all the time. And whether it's a introduction of standing up and meeting them and looking them in the eye and giving them every last bit of attention, to if someone's going through something, like you're there for them. It's not even a discussion. Like you're going to be there for them. So the combination of my mom and dad growing up, like obviously they taught me a lot, but I think the biggest thing is they taught me to believe in myself and impact others.
What have you learned about content and building a personal brand from guys like Coach Rack or other players in the Bananas organization?
So when I was talking about like taking different tools and tricks, like I mean nobody does better than Rack. Rack's tremendous, and this ties back into what I just said about making people feel important. He does such a good job of that with his videos, of looking in the eye, like look at it, like, or in the camera lens, if you will, there, but like just being like fully present for making his videos and talking from a very genuine background. And I think that he does that really well. I think I've learned a lot from Jackson too. Jackson with his, like, he knows how to keep people interested. Because especially in social media, you can just keep scrolling. And if someone watches 2 seconds of your video, 3 seconds, and keeps going, like they don't get to get impacted. They don't even get to hear the story. So as much as you want to be like, let me tell you my story, if someone doesn't feel like they're interested right away, they're just going to go to the next video. So Jackson does a great job. I've done a lot of his, like, with like the voiceovers with like the text, because it forces people to read, which is really good, because when you read, it's also going in your mind versus just hearing it and like thinking about a bunch of other stuff. So I feel like that's been a very good way to portray my message. But I think that the biggest thing I learned when I got to Savannah, just from everybody, is don't be the guy that has a different character than the one is portrayed on Savannah. Like, I think that it is cool because you see all these different posts online, and I'm sure you guys see a lot of different people, and like they come up consistently. For the most part, pretty much everybody is the exact same as you'd think they would be on social media, which is great. Like, you want people to know the true you. You don't want to just post things to get views or post things because this is what people like right now. But you're posting things because you truly want to make an impact and you truly want to make a difference.
Are we allowed to ask you what next season could look like for you? Or are you entering the draft?
Yes, the next season in Banana Ball is going to be extremely, extremely interesting because there's so many different cool venues. I'm not sure if you guys saw the schedule announcement, the city selection, but it's absolutely incredible. And there's going to be so many different people that are impacted. And I think especially because recently there's been so many different people on the ticket waiting list and they haven't been able to get those tickets. So I think now playing more games and adding 2 more teams, it just gives people a bigger chance of coming to experience the joy and everything that surrounds Banana Ball. So we'll find out in the news in a couple weeks. But I can just say that for Banana Ball as a whole, it's gonna be special.
I love that. Well, we're rooting for you and hope one of those teams calls your name and, a lot more people get to see you on the mound and, see the impact that you're making. Final part of the interview, we're going to do some fun rapid fire questions that he put together for you. So some quick ones, just first thing that comes to the mind, and I'll let you take it away.
What's your favorite pregame meal?
Chipotle.
What song needs to be played as you're walking to the mound to get fired up?
Spirit of the Sky is my walkout song.
Where's the coolest place you've played so far?
University of Tennessee.
What's your favorite, not most popular piece of content you created?
I would say my first video, just because the story of it and of just like it happened so fast. It was just like, all right, everyone get behind me. And then now it's like more like the video that started it all.
What's the best advice you've got from a coach or mentor?
Confidence doesn't come from results. Confidence comes from preparation.
iPhone 17 or iPhone 7?
I missed my home button. I just got an iPhone 12. So I got this the new one right here, but it just doesn't feel right without a home button. It doesn't. It's wrong. I mean, I don't even know how to open up my phone. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I just look at it and I just blank stare. I'm like,
Connor, dude, thank you so much for doing this, man. I had a blast. We learned a ton. Your story's incredible, and the good news, I think your story's just beginning, right? Like the people you can impact, the people you're going to see as fingers crossed you go on tour, next season, and hopefully many seasons in front of you. Just we're fans and hope that you continue and build this. And if it's not on the field, it's going to be off the field. Your energy is super contagious, and we had a blast. Thank you so much for doing this.
thank you. And what you guys do is absolutely incredible too. I mean, this is impacting people too. When you're able to put a platform out and ask these questions and be vulnerable and allow other people to be vulnerable in front of people, it makes a difference. So thank you guys for doing what you do, and thank you for including me on this awesome show.
Awesome, man. We'll make
you.
sure we get the links everywhere, and we'll share that announcement as the draft comes out, and hopefully we're all celebrating together, man. Good luck.
Thank you guys very much.